The president said, "I will not nominate myself for presidency in the next elections, and therefore no one from his family will run. Neither the president nor his son will run."
Hosni Mubarak is determined to stay in power until his term ends in September.
He still does control the economy, he still does control the security forces, and he has very good relations with the army. The system has not abandoned him, and that's how he managed to survive.
Calm returns to Liberation Square. The army tightly controls entry points and keeps Mubarak supporters out. Inside, protesters are as defiant as their president.
The day of departure. The anti-Mubarak camp wants the biggest demonstration yet. The army has already moved into place. They say this is to keep both sides apart.
The government tries a new tactic. Egypt's new defense minister visits Liberation Square and pleads with protesters to go home. The numbers in Liberation Square keep rising. It's now a city within a city.
Tahrir Square itself, that half-kilometre, is a living, breathing example of real democracy. The fact that you see people from different social classes mixing together, people from the religious people, secular people, Muslims, Christians. It's a real melting pot, and it's very democratic because anyone has the right to speak. The very fact that they're allowed to speak their minds is seen as an achievement in itself.
Opposition groups are still rejecting offers from the government to negotiate. They want Mubarak out now.
He should hear the clear voice coming from the people and live in dignity.
America seems to agree.
In order for Egypt to have a bright future, which I believe it can have, the only thing that will work is moving an orderly transition process that begins right now.
Minutes away from the military lockdown near Liberation Square, downtown Cairo is bustling. Banks open for the first time in a week, petrol stations stocked. But everyone here knows it's still not business as usual.
It's not easy to keep a mass protest going for 12 days.
People want to feel that normality is back, that it's safe to go about their business, that people can open their shops, people can go to school or whatever. So there is that thirst for normality. And yet there remains this focal point, Tahrir Square, which is completely closed to traffic and is still the epicenter of this protest. It seems that people will go about their normal business during the day, but when it's a day of demonstration, they will go to the square. They may only go for an hour or two, they may go early in the morning, they may go late at night, but the demonstration lives on, but life is going on as well.
There is yet another plea to the occupants of Liberation Square.
The head of the Army Central Command came to ask them to go home so the country could go back to normal. They chanted back, "We're not leaving, he is."
And another attempt to appease the protesters.
Egyptian TV announces big changes in the ruling party. Gone are the executive committee and the president's son, Gamal Mubarak. But it's the father who's got to go for the demonstrators.
The presidency, though, is still a non-negotiable.
You don't run a country as an autocratic leader for 29 years without being extremely tough, extremely stubborn and a real survivor. You know, he's not going to leave unless he's literally shoved out of the door by those closest to him, like his vice president, Omar Suleiman. This man is a survivor. This man is a fighter. This man wants to secure his place in history. He doesn't want to go down in the history books as a man who ran away or who was chased out by a baying mob. He's going to hang in there really for as long as he can.
It's clear that Egypt will never be the same again.
An uprising on the streets, showing no sign of relenting. Protesters united in their defiance of the regime. As demonstrations continued for a third week, President Mubarak remained unmoved. But how much longer could he ignore the demands of his people and hold on to power? In a day-by-day account, we look at the events that changed Egypt, from those that witnessed them firsthand. Fall of Mubarak, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Wherever the news, whatever the story, Al Jazeera.
A history of guerrilla warfare, a place on the global stage. They were an organization created for a stateless population. But before fighting for their land, why did the PLO fight for independence from their Arab neighbors? Chronicling the turbulent story of the struggle for a Palestinian homeland, PLO, History of a Revolution, at this time on Al Jazeera.
There's no honorable way to kill. No gentle way to destroy. There is nothing good in war, except its ending.
If you're a Nokia user, you can download Al Jazeera's news widget from Nokia's Ovis store. The news widget, available on compatible Nokia devices, gives users quick and easy access to real-time news updates from Al Jazeera English. See the world in real time. Al Jazeera Mobile.
This is Al Jazeera.
Welcome to the News Hour live from Doha. It's good to have you with us. I'm Divi Gopalan. From Al Jazeera News Centers in Doha and Washington, D.C., these are our main stories. Libya's opposition forces boost their defense positions in anticipation of another onslaught. Leaving Libya en masse, thousands of foreign workers are on their way out after weeks of fighting.
Hello, I'm Daljit Dhaliwal in Washington, where Barack Obama says that the Libyan leader has lost legitimacy.
It's time for Gaddafi to go.
But the U.S. president also says that the United States is still considering what to do next.
Plus, escalating violence in Côte d'Ivoire puts it back in the UN's sights. And Egypt moves a step closer to forming a government with the appointment of a new prime minister.